What a night here in London. The 11th NFL regular season game here at Wembley. 48 degrees, clear skies. Before we get started, down to the pitch. And Tony Siragusa. Goose.
Thanks, Kenny. I got an opportunity during warm-ups to talk with Tony Romo, and he told me, you know, his decision to play today was simply based on back-to-back losses. He thought this team has definitely lost the momentum it had earlier, and he said that we need this game, especially going into the bye week. Now, this is not going to be an easy task. You got Jacksonville, number 3 in the NFL in sacks. So this Dallas offensive line is going to have their work cut out for them today.
All right, Goose, back-to-back losses for Jason Garrett's Cowboys to the Redskins and Arizona last week, with Brandon Weeden starting for the injured Tony Romo. Cowboys have never lost 3 straight in Garrett's tenure. Across the way, Gus Bradley in his second season as Jaguars head coach. Jacksonville with a record of 1-8, their only victory 3 weeks ago over the Cleveland Browns. Third NFL game this season here at Wembley. 11th all-time. First regular season game outside the U.S. for the Cowboys. Jaguars played here in London last year, and they lead the all-time series 3-2. Jacksonville won the toss, elected to defer, so Josh Scobie will get things started. And we are underway here in London. Coming out of the end zone, Dwayne Harris. Harris out to the 20-yard line as Tony Romo makes his return, leading the Cowboys offense onto the field.
One of the things you had to worry about really was the long plane flight over here and then returning back to Dallas after the game. And Tony Romo told us that it was not an issue, actually slept for 6 hours. So that would have been one of my top concerns coming over here to play this game. But it's such an important thing. And a lot of this decision for him to come out here and play today is a result of how they played against the Arizona Cardinals offensively.
Tony told us yesterday he got 6 hours sleep on the flight from Dallas to London on Monday, 4,745 miles. On first down, Romo hands it off to the NFL's leading rusher, DeMarco Murray. Murray all the way out to the 43-yard line, finally forced out of bounds by Jonathan Cyprien, 23 yards on the first play from scrimmage.
And there's a great sign right there. We've talked about Tony Romo being in the lineup, but Ronald Leary and Doug Free back in the lineup on that offensive line opened up a big hole for DeMarco Murray right there. Des Bryant has to start becoming more productive. You've got to get him the ball. Jason Garrett said it's one of their top priorities to get him involved in the game. Only 5 receptions the last 2 games for 45 yards.
3 wide receivers set, 1st and 10 from the 43-yard line as Romo sets up the screen. It's Murray again, and he has another first down to the Jacksonville 40.
This is a young team, and you're going to have some mistakes right there, but one of the things that's going to happen is this defensive line is going to have to play well today. Roy Miller, Derek Marks, they're going to have to battle against that very good offensive line of the Dallas Cowboys. We've already seen in the start of the game today, the big hole in the first play in the running game, athletic and down the field on the screen.
40 yards for Murray on the first 2 plays, 23-yard run, 17-yard catch and run. 1st and 10 from the Jaguars 40. It is Murray, and this time he gains 3. Roy Miller along with Derek Marks on the tackle.
And obviously one of the first things we're going to do here in the beginning of the game is watch the mobility of Tony Romo. And Jason Garrett said it's not so much his ability to manage the amount of pain. I think Tony Romo has shown everybody he's a tough guy. Physically, he's a tough guy. It's the functionality at the quarterback position. Does he have any effects from that injury?
Sacked 5 times in his last start. The loss to the Redskins 2 weeks ago on 2nd and 7. This is Murray. And this time he gains just 1 down to the 36-yard line. Red Bryant made the tackle, setting up a 3rd down and 6.
And one of the things you want to do to make sure that Tony Romo stays healthy this afternoon is to stay in that manageable 3rd down situation. Don't create obvious passing downs. The first couple of plays right there, big runs on 1st down. Here we go with the first opportunity for this Jaguars defense to maybe get some pressure on Tony Romo.
Cowboys best in the league on 3rd down this season, although they've struggled the last 2 weeks. Empty backfield. Cowboys must get to the Jaguars 30. Romo on 3rd down. Steps up, and now he throws just out of the reach of a wide open Jason Witten.
That offensive line did a nice job of giving Tony Romo protection here, Darryl.
Yeah, and Tony Romo's going to be disappointed with himself. He misses a wide open Jason Witten. They turn him loose right down the middle of the field and just a little overthrown.
So the Cowboys send out the field goal unit. Dan Bailey is 4 of 5 from 50+ this season. This is a 54-yard attempt. And Bailey's kick is good, matching the longest ever field goal in an NFL game here at Wembley. First Blair Walsh of the Vikings, and now Bailey connects from 54 yards out. Just about every NFL team represented in the stands here at Wembley.
It's one of the things that we've enjoyed. We've been able to come over here 3 times, and every time we come over, we do a search for all 32 teams, and we always find all 32 teams represented over here in London.
Good start for DeMarco Murray and the Cowboys. Lead 3-0. Jaguars will start from their 20-yard line. Led out to the field by the rookie out of Central Florida, 3rd overall draft pick, Blake Bortles, who will make his 7th NFL start.
Well, he had a nice game statistically last week, but one of the things I liked about Blake Bortles' response to, hey, how did you think you played last week in that game? I wasn't happy with it. I've got to be better than that. He's driven to be better. He's made some mistakes, but this is a very, very young Jacksonville Jaguar team. They have had a penchant to beat themselves early in the year, but they're starting to make that turn, playing their best football over the last 3 weeks.
Denard Robinson coming off 3 big weeks in the backfield off the fake. To Robinson. Bortles completes his first pass. It's the tight end Clay Harbor, dragged out of bounds by J.J. Wilcox, gain of 5.
And one of the things that's going to have to happen today for the Jacksonville Jaguars is this offensive line is going to have to open some running lanes for Denard Robinson. And Denard Robinson is only second to DeMarco Murray over the last 3 weeks in rushing yards. So it's been a big part of their game to jumpstart this offense.
Back-to-back 100-yard games with a 94 for Robinson last week against the Bengals. On 2nd and 5, this is Robinson, the former quarterback at the University of Michigan, out to the 27. Anthony Hitchens, the tackle, 3rd down and 3.
Anthony Hitchens making the tackle there, but Rolando McClain is in the lineup this afternoon, and that's a big deal for the Dallas Cowboys defense. If there's a playmaker on the defensive side of the ball, it's going to be Rolando McClain. Anthony Hitchens gets the start of the inside, but he is there. We'll see if the Jaguars can challenge the Dallas Cowboys at that linebacker level.
Dallas without offensive end Tyrone Crawford. Empty backfield, 3rd down and 3. Toby Gerhart split wide to the left. And a big hit is made by Bruce Carter on Allen Robinson.
Very good physical hit on the outside. Jeff Heath, no. It's not Jeff Heath, it's actually Sterling Moore breaking off his coverage on the outside, recognizing the route underneath, and comes up, puts a big hit on Allen Robinson.
Allen Robinson did a really nice job of going and finding that 1st down marker, though, to get the 1st down on that play.
He did. Forward progress out to the 30. So the Jaguars with a new set of downs. This is Denard Robinson. And Robinson out to the 32-yard line, setting up 2nd down and 8.
Blake Bortles gets his opportunity after a couple of games to start for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they had an open and honest conversation coming into the preseason. He didn't take a lot of snaps with the number ones through there, and all he wanted to do was become a part of the conversation once they got to training camp, and he accomplished that. And the coaching staff took a look at it. You get to a certain point of the season where you have to make that change with Chad Henne, and you feel it's time for young Blake Bortles to take the reins.
That he started the first 3 games. Jaguars lost all 3. Bortles on second down, complete into Cowboys territory in his Cecil shorts. It takes it to the Dallas 44-yard line, a 24-yard completion.
A big play right down into the middle of the field for Blake Bortles. The linebackers bite. It opens up that throwing lane over the top. Sterling Moore trailing in coverage.
From the Dallas 44, Bortles hit as he throws. Pass intended for Allen Robinson.
Little zone blitz off to the right side for the Dallas Cowboys. Picked up really well by that offense.
Now 2nd and 10 for Bortles and the Jaguars. Just over 6 minutes gone by here at Wembley, with the Cowboys leading 3-0.
Hey, easy. Hey, let's go, rest.
And now Bortles calls timeout with the play clock all the way down to 1.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly.
Jacksonville Jaguars offense ranked 30th in the league in yards, last in points per game. They are very young, especially at the skill positions.
Yeah, and they have the critical mistakes, the turnovers, the things that stop drives and prevent you from giving points.
2 tight end set, 2nd and 10 from the 44-yard line. This is Denard Robinson. And he picks up 4 down to the Cowboys 40, setting up 3rd down and 6.
But what a good story Denard Robinson is. You know, you're talking about, you know, the all-time leader in rushing yards in the college game, and you draft him, and you're trying to figure out what role he's going to do. You're going to bring him in as a kickoff returner, maybe some wild card packages or a slot receiver, and all of a sudden you start to see that explosive capability in the running game. He puts on some weight, and now he's become your big runner.
Over 4,400 yards on the ground, most ever by a collegiate quarterback. And now the Cowboys use their first timeout. Cowboys using their first timeout. We head to Los Angeles for a game break with Joel Klatt. Joel?
All right, Kenny, and we take you to New Orleans, where San Francisco on the board early. Frank Gore from 4 yards out. That's San Francisco's first rushing touchdown since September 21st. That's right. You heard me correctly. San Francisco up 7-0 over the Saints. Kenny, Moose, and Goose.
Thanks, Joel. Early lead for the 49ers, who have lost 2 straight. San Francisco at 4-4. Saints in first place in the NFL NFC South with a record of 4-4 as well. Third down and 6. Bortles to the outside, and the catch is made for a first down at the 32-yard line by Allen Robinson, gain of 8.
This is a nice throw by Blake Bortles. Some good zone coverage by the Dallas defense. Small window to fit this in. Watch the zip on this ball. This is a guy who, as a youngster, down in high school, didn't play a whole lot of football, didn't travel to the big camps across the country. Kind of started his football career later in life, and he's got some nice skills.
You got all those parents at home wondering why they're spending that money going to camps, and you got a guy that can throw like that.
How about Denard Robinson? He is inside the 10, the 5 to the end zone. Touchdown! 32-yard run. Denard Robinson, his 3rd touchdown of the season.
There's that explosive capability from the running back position that Denard Robinson has provided to this offense. You're going to watch just a straight running play to the right side, kick out by Will Tafo'o on the outside, and a nice cut by Denard Robinson back to the inside and then beats everybody to the end zone.
That's a great cut right there. Nice job of putting the ball on the outside. And tell you what, he can do a lot of different things.
Good job, Luke Bowenko, getting down to that second level, getting that push on Bruce Carter to spring Denard Robinson back inside.
Josh Scobie adds the extra point. So an 80-yard drive by the Jaguars. Robinson to the end zone. 7-3 Jacksonville.
Today's Game on Fox is sponsored by Ford. Beautiful things happen when you go further. By K-Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Back in London, Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa, 7-3 lead for the Jaguars. A 9-play, 80-yard drive, second opening drive touchdown for Jacksonville this season. Dwayne Harris takes a knee. Cowboys will start at their 20 following the 32-yard touchdown run by the Jaguars, Denard Robinson. Both teams scored on their opening drive. Cowboys field goal, Jaguars a touchdown. Romo 1 for 2 on the first Dallas possession. Cowboys start from their 20, off the fake to Murray. Romo goes across the field, and Murray takes it out to the 24.
And I think early on here you're seeing some good mobility from Tony Romo. And when I first heard the decision to bring Tony Romo over here to play the game in London, I was kind of against that. I thought they'd be better served leaving him back in Dallas, allowing him to rest for almost a full month before that next game against the Giants. But when you got over here and talked to Tony Romo and the Cowboy players, the sense of urgency they had about this game, you could see it on the opening drive by the Jacksonville Jaguars. They are playing their best football right now.
Yeah, he's a competitor, man. He wanted to come out here and he wanted to get this team back with all the momentum they had earlier in the season, and he knows that they dropped off a little bit with back-to-back losses, and he's just a competitor.
DeMarco Murray picks up a first down as he gains 9.
It's funny talking to Jason Garrett. You know, we've got to find a way to get the ball to 88. We've got to turn around and hand the ball to 29. And, you know, if you give him a lane where he does not have to shift or change direction, if it's a downhill running opportunity for DeMarco Murray, he's one of the more physical runners I've seen in the NFL this season.
Held under 100 yards by the Cardinals last Sunday for the first time this season. NFL record, 8 straight 100-yard games to begin the season. False start.
False start. Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty. First down.
The left tackle, Tyron Smith.
And that's going to be one of the challenges for the Jacksonville Jaguar front, is making DeMarco Murray stop, change direction. When he gets going downhill, he gains momentum, he gains that confidence in the running game, and he's going to be tough to stop. Red Bryant, Roy Miller, Senderick Marks, those big guys up front, clog those lanes, make him stop and change direction.
First and 15 following the penalty. From the 27, Romo, complete to Witten. And Witten's the other guy that Jason Garrett talked about. He's brought down by Ciprian. He said we have to get the ball to 88, 29, and of course 82.
Yeah, you've always got to find a way to get Jason Witten involved in your game plan, but, you know, for Jaguar fans, they know this player right here, number 37, Jonathan Ciprian, one of the really good young safeties in the NFL. This is textbook for all you young guys out there. This is old school, driving the shoulder through, lifting the body up, and taking him down.
Witten able to gain just 3. Second down and 12. Romo handed it off to Murray. And Murray able to make something out of nothing. Takes it out to the 37-yard line, so it will be third down and 5, a gain of 7.
What a big opportunity for the Jacksonville Jaguars to create that third and long, that obvious passing situation where they could get after Tony Romo. But again, the strength of DeMarco Murray to break Chris Clements' tackle right there and then spin to the outside. And again, watch at the end. Just watch how physical he is when he's finishing those runs.
Murray replaced by Joseph Randle. Witten shifting, third down and 5.
Shallow.
Cowboys must get to the 42. Romo on third down. There is a flag, and the catch is made by the rookie out of Pitt. A spectacular catch made by Devin Street. But it looks like it's coming back.
You're going to watch at the top of this route. Devin Street's going to create separation.
Offense, number 15. 10-yard penalty, replay, third down.
He uses his hands to create separation to complete the catch.
So the offensive pass interference call on Street, second Cowboys penalty during this possession. It is now third down and 16.
Missed opportunities by this Dallas Cowboy team. Witten over the middle, the overthrow by Tony Romo, and then that penalty right there.
Now Lance Dunbar on the backfield. Third down and 16 for Tony Romo and the Cowboys. On the screen, it's Dunbar. Cowboys will punt it away. Keldon Smith on the tackle for the Jaguars.
And head coach Gus Bradley has done a nice job of really implementing what he wants to do on the defensive side of the ball right now. He comes from the Seattle Seahawks, that great defense that they had. He was the man who was responsible for the construction of that defense that the Seahawks rode to the Super Bowl last year.
First punt of the game, and it's a good one from Chris Jones, forcing Ace Sanders all the way back to the 15, and the ball came loose. And the Cowboys have recovered. C.J. Spillman falls on it.
These are the types of mistakes that have hurt the Jacksonville Jaguars through the first part of this season. We talked about their youth, and they seem to have these critical mistakes during the course of the game. Ace Sanders just has to field this punt. He takes his eyes off. He feels Dwayne Harris, and he doesn't have the ball secure yet as he starts to look up to see where coverage is.
And then C.J. Spillman over the top on the recovery. Jaguars commit their 20th turnover of the season. Only the Philadelphia Eagles have committed more. So new life for the Cowboys. First and goal from the Jaguars 6.
There's Bryant at the top of your screen. See if he pulls man-to-man coverage here.
Romo hands it off. This is Murray, and he spins all the way down inside the 2. Brought down by Avery Jones.
That's one of the big things that this offense has created this season. The ability to run the ball inside the red zone, in my opinion, one of the most important things. It's such a challenge to produce touchdowns. Once you get inside the 20-yard line, the advantage goes to the defense. You've got to have that strong running game to have repeated success in the red zone scoring touchdowns.
3 receivers set. Cole Beasley, slot to the right. There's Bryant, bottom of your screen to the left. Play clock at 2. Cowboys get the snap away. Romo end zone, looking for Bryant. Demetrius McCray on the coverage.
A lot of people would probably get a little bit nervous one-on-one down in the red zone against Dez Bryant, but not Demetrius McCray. He was hoping that A.J. Green was going to play for the Cincinnati Bengals earlier this season. He plays with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, which is huge for a young corner. He is not intimidated by any of the top receivers in the NFL.
Yeah, he does a really nice job of getting his head back inside and seeing Tony Romo release the ball. That's how he was able to go and make a play on it.
Cowboys empty the backfield. Third and goal from the 2. Romo moving to his right. Looking end zone. He throws. Touchdown. Jason Witten.
I'm always amazed that number 82 is able to find his way to an open area on the field when the play breaks down in the red zone.
One-on-one basketball with Witten out there.
Oh, you just see it so many times, and
Yeah.
you know that Tony Romo is going to be looking for him. It's just such a nice skill set that he has. It's such a subtle thing. J.T. Thomas again gets caught up stumbling the whole time. Number 82. You got to know where number 82 is once you get inside the red zone, especially when that play breaks down.
He just finds a way.
Third touchdown of the season for the 9-time Pro Bowler Jason Witten. Bailey adds the extra point. Cowboys capitalize on the special teams turnover committed by the Jaguars. Sights and sounds here in London as we come to you 11 miles to the west of Buckingham Palace. 55th career touchdown for Jason Witten following the Jacksonville turnover. Condon will not take it out. Jaguars start from their 20. Blake Bortles, third overall pick in the NFL draft. Record of 22-5 at Central Florida, where he played for one of your former coaches, George O'Leary. You were with George up at Syracuse.
Yes, I was. We shared some nice stories of George O'Leary. So, good reminiscing.
And Blake said he really benefited from O'Leary's system.
A little bit of a semi-pro offense that he was involved with down at Central Florida. I think it's one of the things that challenges these young quarterbacks today.
Play action and then the screen to Denard Robinson. Gain of just one. Bruce Carter made the tackle.
Some of these young guys coming to the NFL today really struggling playing that spread offense and not really understanding the mechanics, but here's a couple of them for you right here to take a look at and how productive they've been at the start, with the completion percentage being really impressive in my opinion. All of them over 60% right there. But the mechanics of the quarterback position in the NFL, very demanding with the communication from sideline to huddle.
On second down and 9, it's Robinson again. There is a flag. Robinson out to the 27-yard line.
Holding. Offense. Number 86. 10-yard penalty. Replay. Second down.
That's on the tight end, Clay Harbor. We check in with Joel Klatt. Joel?
All right, Kenny, let's go up to Detroit. And, of course, Megatron has missed 3 straight games, but he's back. Matthew Stafford, 49 yards to Calvin Johnson. Detroit with a 10-0 lead over Miami early. Back to London, Kenny, Moose, and Goose.
Thanks, Joel. Lions with a big win in this stadium 2 weeks ago.
Oh, tremendous comeback, down 21-0 to the Atlanta Falcons. Come all the way back to get that victory, 22-21.
Second down at 19 following the penalty as that pass is broken up and nearly picked off by Orlando Scandrick.
Orlando Scandrick trusts his instincts as a cornerback. He does a tremendous amount of prep. He breaks you down by formation, down in distance, and you've got to trust what you see. You see that right there coming off of his man, making the break to deflect the pass. That's the second time we've seen a defender. Sterling Moore did it earlier, coming off of their coverage. They must be locking onto. Blake Bortles has got to be careful. Are you starting to stare down your receivers because we've got other defenders coming off of coverage to make plays?
Bortles has thrown a league-high 13 picks over his first 6 starts. On the screen, this is Jordan Todman. Stopped 5 yards shy of the marker, so the Jaguars will punt it away, chased down by Henry Melton. So here comes Brian Anger and the punting unit. They love watching all of the kicks, the field goal attempts, the extra points, the kickoffs, and the punts here in London.
Now, Brian Anger, Josh Scobie, Chris Jones, Dan Bailey, they're rock stars over here when the games are played in the UK.
Punting from his own 15. Terrific kick, forcing Harris back to the Cowboys 15. And he returns it out across the 25-yard line. Dakota Watson, the tackle on special teams. Well, do you want more excitement? Fox and Fox Sports 1 are the place to turn Saturday for a full day of conference rivalries, including games with playoff implications as Washington takes on 19th ranked Arizona and number 6 TCU squares off against Kansas. It all begins at 3 Eastern on Fox, Fox Sports 1, and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
It's going to be tough for me on that last game there, Kenny, being a local guy there with North Texas close by. But a high school friend, Sean Kugler, the head coach of the Miners out at Texas El Paso.
Probably close to the NFL with the Steelers and the Bills. Romo has started the game 5 of 7. The toss to Dunbar, and then the end around. It's Dwayne Harris. But Harris is tackled from behind by Dwayne Krantz. Loses a couple on the play.
That's a good play by Ryan Davis because he pushed Dwayne Harris back deep enough to kind of disrupt this play. A lot of times you get down the chase, he recognizes it, now he flattens back and pushes upfield. Doesn't make the tackle, but enough of a stumble to allow his teammate Dwayne Krantz to get in there and make the play.
Time winding down in this first quarter here at Wembley. Coming into this game, Jaguars had actually outscored their opponents in the first quarter this season. So Dallas able to capitalize on the only turnover of the game. Cowboys lead the Jaguars here at Wembley 10-7 after 1. Welcome back. Dallas Cowboys lead the Jacksonville Jaguars 10-7 as we get set to start the second quarter here at Wembley, which opened in 2007 on the site of the original Wembley Stadium, built in 1923 and then demolished 11 years ago. Empty backfield as Dunbar shifted into the slot left. And Romo's pass is caught. First reception of the game for Des Bryant out to the 35.
And important to get him involved early in this game. He only one first quarter catch over the last 4 games. He's one of those guys that really kind of feeds off that when you get him the ball early and he feels like he's a part of the game plan.
3rd down and 1. Cowboys send in an extra blocker, number 78, Jeremy Parnell, along with 2 tight ends, Witten and Hanna.
This is the beef line right here. All the big guys up on the line of scrimmage.
Here's the fullback, Tyler Klutz, in as well. On 3rd and 1, Murray picks up a first.
Exactly what you said, Darryl. Once he gets going downhill, he's hard to stop.
Yeah, because Tyler Klutz is going to the outside as his fullback, the lead blocker, but he's just going to hit this straight up the middle. He's going to bail from his fullback. He takes that first running lane. Everything gets chopped off on the backside, understands down in distance and getting north and south.
Darryl giving the fullback some love. Tyler Klutz celebrating his 30th birthday today here in London. On 1st down, here's Murray. 55 yards on the ground for DeMarco Murray already, and we are not even 2 minutes into the second quarter.
Well, Jason talked to us about, we got to throw the ball to Dez. That's our most important thing. I may differ with him a little bit. I think it's more important to turn around and hand DeMarco Murray the ball. When Dallas got on that 6-game winning streak, DeMarco Murray was the person that everybody was trying to stop. That offensive line was coming off the ball. They were controlling the flow of the game.
Here's Murray again. He slips on 2nd and 5.
Yeah,
those time gains just 1.
Those defensive linemen, they wear down after a while, Darryl. You get them run. Those offensive linemen just keep coming at you, and it might not show in the 1st or 2nd quarter, but as the game goes on, it wears on you. And once those big guys, get wore down, they can't recover.
Total yards couldn't be much closer, but the Jaguars committed the game's only turnover, which led to the Cowboys' touchdown. 3rd down and 4. Bryant shifts to the left. Cowboys must get to midfield. Romo on 3rd down to the outside, and it is broken up. Getting a hand in is McCray. Pass intended for Terrence Williams.
I tell you, he's fun to watch. I mean, he's a young guy, 2nd-year corner, small school, Appalachia State. And just watch him out here. Good footwork. Good play back on the football. You can see Gus Bradley there on the sideline cheering him on. Had a lot of nice things to say about Demetrius McRae.
Jones will punt for the second time. Remember, Sanders committed the turnover on his first return attempt. There's Sanders from the 3. Eludes a tackle. Out across the 20 and tripped up. Ace Sanders takes it out to the 27. 24 yards on the return. Longest punt return by a Jacksonville Jaguar this season. We all had some fun on the London Eye this week.
A lot higher once you're in that the top of that car than it looks from the ground. I'm not a big fan of heights. A little bit high there. And there's Rolando McClain. Now he's got that parka over top. Jason Garrett said he's one of our best leaders on the defensive side, one of the best playmakers. Maybe not a good sign for Cowboy fans to see that parka on the sideline.
Here's Denard Robinson. And he loses a yard on first down as he's tackled by the longtime Jaguar, Jeremy Mincy. Now some extracurricular activity. There's Mincy, spent 8 seasons with the Jaguars. Also played in the Super Bowl with Denver last season after he was released by Jacksonville. Second down and 11. Robinson again. Denard Robinson out to the 28. Brought down by Hitchens, gain of 3.
Nice job by Jack Crawford getting some quick penetration, though. Making Denard Robinson make a decision deep in the backfield on that play.
Jack Crawford, number 58 for the Cowboys. Born and grew up right here in London. Moved to New Jersey in the 11th grade. Originally a basketball player. And then played football at Penn State. Third down and 8. Play clock is at 2. And Bortles is forced to use the second Jacksonville timeout of this first half. Early second quarter with the Cowboys leading the Jaguars 10-7. Wednesday on The Ultimate Fighter, the prelims come to a dramatic end as the final 2 fighters enter the cage looking to advance to the quarterfinals. Don't miss an all-new, hard-hitting episode of The Ultimate Fighter Wednesday at 10 Eastern and Pacific, only on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
Those girls in Ultimate Fighter, boy, they fight hard. Sometimes they fight even better than the guys do. They are mad.
You know Goose will be tuning in.
Absolutely.
Third down and 7 for Bortles and the Jaguars following the timeout. Jacksonville must get to the 36-yard line. Pressure on Bortles. Down he goes. It's the ex-Jaguar Mincy along with Barry Church.
I like the change-up after the timeout. Dallas was showing blitz in the A-gaps. Blake Bortles calls timeout when they come back out. Now they show a single blitzer in the A-gap. You're going to get pressure here, and you get pressure here. So they're going to collapse you from both edges. Nice change-up during that timeout by Rod Marinelli's defense.
So Mincy and Church share the sack. Anger waiting back at his 7-yard line. Taken by Harris at the 27. 8-yard return to the 35. 52-yard punt. The sack of Bortles, Mincy, and Church. Cowboys by 3. 10-7 lead for the Cowboys here in London. And Tony Romo's return after sitting out last week's loss to Arizona from the 35. The handoff to Murray. And he is wrapped up by Gino Hayes, gain of just 1.
Well, a lot of common links in this game today. Gus Bradley, mentored by Monty Kiffin and Rob Marinelli during the course of his coaching career as he was moving up the ranks. So there's a lot of familiarity between these offenses with the defenses that they're going to be following. There's Monty Kiffin, a consultant upstairs for the Dallas Cowboys, and Monty Kiffin was responsible for bringing Gus Bradley into the NFL in 2006 to Tampa Bay and told everybody that this guy is special. He's unique.
Romo on 2nd and 9, complete to Witten for a Cowboys first down across midfield.
And I really felt coming into the game with the concern about Tony Romo's health at the quarterback position and how was that offensive line going to handle that. I watched Seattle-Dallas as I got ready to do the Seattle-St. Louis game. The Dallas offensive line dominated Seattle that day. They are very familiar with this defense. Tyron Smith, one of only for the 3rd time in the history of the NFL, NFC Offensive Player of the Week as an offensive lineman. That's how dominant that group was against that Seattle defense.
Here's Murray on first down. And Murray inside the Jaguars 40 to the 37 as another Cowboys first down, a gain of 12.
And they throw so many different ways to run the football at you. You can see inside, outside zone. You'll see old school power where you're pulling interior linemen, kicking out and wrapping around on the outside. And right there, another one. You've got offensive linemen shifting, moving to the outside, creating the running lane for DeMarco Murray.
Balanced offensive attack. You mentioned earlier, Darryl, 2 offensive linemen return to the Cowboys starting lineup today. Left guard Ronald Leary and the right tackle Doug Free as Murray spins and is brought down at the 34 by the ex-Seahawk Red Bryant. To Los Angeles, Joel Klatt. Joel.
All right, Kenny, let's go to New Orleans. One of the bright young stars in the league does it again. Brandon Cooks deep down the seam from Drew Brees. 31-yard TD. 14-10, 49ers still in the lead, but the Saints marching back to London. Kenny, Moose, and Goose.
Thanks, Joel. And coming into this game, Brandon Cooks and Allen Robinson of the Jaguars tied for the league lead in receptions by rookies this season, both having terrific years. 2nd down and 8 for the Cowboys. From the 35. Romo dumps it off to Bryant. And Des Bryant has a first down and more. Inside the 10, the 5 still going. Touchdown! 35 yards, Romo to Bryant, who did the rest.
Well, it all starts with protection up front, and the Jaguars are going to bring a blitz into the middle, handled perfectly by Travis Frederick and DeMarco Murray. Watch them clean up this cross blitz right here. Give Tony Romo the clean pocket. He finds Des Bryant on the underneath route, and now this is just all Des. He is so physical in the open field. Look at the run to get into the end zone. Runs through the entire Jaguar secondary.
40th time Romo and Bryant have combined on a touchdown in 4.5 seasons. 7 TD this season for Bryant. Cowboys lead by 10. Ten-point lead for the Dallas Cowboys. 5 plays, 65 yards. Romo to Bryant.
Just so impressive in all phases of the game as a wide receiver. Great at the point of the catch. You saw on that touchdown run how difficult he is to bring down in the open field.
Todman on the return. Jeff Heath the tackle. Todman stopped at the 16-yard line. Well, the Jaguars get off to a good start. 80-yard touchdown drive on their first possession, but since then, a special teams turnover. Only 9 yards on 6 plays.
Yeah, and again, you build that positive momentum. It was a very impressive opening drive, but in those last 2 series, it's a lot of things that are within the control of the Jacksonville players. They're having the critical mistakes, penalties.
On the slant, it's Allen Robinson. And Robinson has a Jaguars first down, gain of 11.
We talked about the youth of this team, but they've got a couple of young receivers on the outside. Allen Robinson, Allen Hurns having really nice seasons.
Now Denard Robinson dives forward to the 28.
We talked about them struggling on the last 2 series. Let's come out and try something different. Yeah, it's not working. Let's go no huddle. Let's control the flow at the line of scrimmage.
3 receivers set, second down at 9. Bortles looking for Allen Robinson. No flags. Sterling Moore on the coverage.
Good job by Denard Robinson crossing formation to pick up this blitz. This is not as easy as it looks. Dallas really starting to challenge Blake Bortles with the blitz. That first series they kind of just rushed for, took his offense right down the field for the touchdown. Since then, Rod Marinelli electing to add people, a little zone drop, trying to confuse the young QB.
Empty backfield, third down and 9. Jaguars must get to the 37 for a first down. Bortles a pump fake. Under pressure being chased by Henry Milton. He throws and it's out of bounds. Todman out of bounds, so the Jaguars will punt it away.
A lot of talk about the signing of Henry Melton in the offseason, and he's finally starting to show why. Working from the inside here, nice arm over, good pursuit.
Anger back to punt for the 3rd time. Harris back deep for the Cowboys. Will lead by 10. Harris waiting, takes it out to 24. And is brought down at the 29-yard line by Dakota Watson. 49-yard punt. 7 on the return. From Wembley, Cowboys lead by 10. Return man Dwayne Harris helped off the field following the punt return.
I tell you, he is one of those guys who you take for granted. You don't realize how many things he does for your team until he's out of the lineup. Good in the open formations as a wide receiver, a great returner, great core special teams guy. So that's a tough loss for Dallas if Dwayne Harris can't make it back out.
Cowboys start from the 30 off the fake to Murray. Romo to the outside. And the catch is made for a first down by Des Bryant. 17-yard completion.
Nice route by Des Bryant. Tremendous separation at the top of that route. And let's check back in on Tony Romo, see how the functionality of the quarterback position is. He has not shown any signs of the fractured transverse process being anything that's going to hinder him this afternoon.
Well, that Jacksonville defensive line needs to find a way. The whole defense needs to find a way to put a little pressure and move him around the pocket, put a little pressure on him. Right now, he's just standing in that pocket, looking downfield, making throws.
Romo 9 of 12 with 2 touchdown passes. This is Murray. And when we spoke with Tony Romo yesterday, he said, I was sore early in the week, slept 6 hours on the plane ride. As we mentioned, he said, I've been able to manage it, and I envision playing the entire game.
Well, in the organization of the Dallas Cowboys, they've been able to kind of track this injury 6 times. It's happened to 6 individual players that people know, and it's been the same scenario every time. After the injury, they went back into the game and finished the game. They missed the following week and then returned the week after that. Exactly what Tony Romo is doing with his recovery. The exact same phase as everybody they had talked to that they had experienced this injury before.
All right, 6 over the course of 25 years, and none of those 6 missed more than 1 full game. Winton to the Jaguars, 47. A.T. Thomas made the tackle, a gain of 5.
Well, we know the history of Tony Romo and his back injuries, and this is a completely separate injury. It in no way is related to the disc issue that he had at the end of last season or impacted by the surgery that he had in the offseason. This is completely different.
Well, the good thing about it also, with the bye week coming up, it's coming out perfect time for Tony to go and get it 2 weeks off, rest up, and we'll make a nice run there towards the end of the season.
Right, both teams with bye next week, Coos, following the trip home from London. 3rd down and 4. Romo steps up to the outside. It's Murray, but not nearly enough. Shoved out of bounds by McCray, so the Cowboys will punt it away.
A little bit of pressure there for the first time in a while by Jacksonville.
Yeah, I think Tony felt it too. Nice quick pass to the outside. I think it affected him a little bit. I think Jacksonville needs to go and reevaluate, what they're doing defensively and bring more pressure.
You see Tyler Patman heading into the locker room.
Patman with an interception return for a touchdown against Arizona last week. Bearcat signal and caught by Sanders at the 12. Well, as part of the league's Salute to Service campaign, the NFL and the Royal British Legion have partnered in honor of Remembrance Day here in the UK to bid on authentic game-worn poppy items, with all proceeds benefiting the Royal British Legion. Visit NFL.com/auction. Today is Remembrance Sunday. In the UK, every year on the second Sunday of November, it is observed. Nations at war back in World War I declared a truce effective at 11 a.m. on November 11th, 1918. 1 million British citizens were killed during World War I. On first down, it is Denard Robinson. The poppy became a symbol of loss during the war. It was one of the first flowers to bloom in the wastelands of World War I battlefields, and red color evokes the blood that was shed.
And some impressive viewing of the poppies around London while we were here. Westminster Abbey was one, but the best one, the Towers of London, was just absolutely incredible.
And the Cowboys held a team function at the Tower of London on Friday night. Second down and 11. Catch is made by Cecil Shorts, and he breaks free across midfield. Finally brought down at the Cowboys' 35-yard line, a 53-yard pass play.
It's so critical to be able to rally and tackle, and you take a short completion and turn it into a long play. Brandon Carr goes for the deflection underneath. The throw by Blake Bortles to Cecil Shorts breaks another tackle, and then outruns Anthony Hitchens down the sideline for a big gain.
Longest reception this season by Shorts, 53 yards. From the Dallas 35, it's Robinson. Looks to cut it back inside. Ball comes loose. Robinson coughed it up. Officials trying to get to the bottom of the pile.
Dallas had a tremendous shot at this when it first went on the ground. If Jacksonville gets this back, there's somebody fighting hard at the bottom of that pile.
Yeah, you know how those piles go, Moose. Guys are ripping, trying to do anything they can to try and get possession of that thing on the bottom. Report on Dwayne Harris, also had a knee to the back, expected to return, guys.
All right, thanks, Goose. It is Cowboys football. Second Jaguars turnover.
George Selby in pursuit. Across formation, knocks the ball loose from Denard Robinson. Good hustle. One of the things that Rod Marinelli preaches to his guys is hustling to the football. He'll stop the film during the course of game review.
Early in the field is a fumble, recovered by Dallas. First and 10, change of possession.
And if you don't show in that film, you get written down for a loaf. So you'll see this Dallas, one of the cornerstones of this Dallas defense is pursuit and hustle to the ball. Good things happen. You see there George Selby hustling down the line, punches it out. His teammates who are in pursuit as well, able to get the recovery.
Barry Church on the recovery. Rod Marinelli also brought in footballs on springs attached to the walls of the defensive meeting rooms at the Cowboys practice facility, and players have to tap that football and get their hands on the football, the defensive players, every time they walk by.
Like punching the clock in and punching the clock out when you go to work.
So the Cowboys take over. It's Murray on first down. Now, all turnovers are automatically reviewed, so the Cowboys, Barry Church, coming up on the recovery. 2.5 remaining second quarter, with the Cowboys leading by 10.
And it's so hard to get that clear recovery at the bottom of the pile. So, you know, these other coaches, Gus Bradley with maybe the opportunity considering throwing that, but he can't do it because it's going to be reviewed upstairs.
Second down, Romo looking for Bryant. He makes the catch, and there is a flag. Wayne Krotz defending.
You can see Des Bryant really starting to take over on the outside.
Prior to the pass, holding defense. Number 27. Penalties declined. Result of the play. 1st and 10.
And maybe more than a statistical thing, Kenny, is just that momentum that he generates with his style of play.
16-yard reception by Bryant. 2-minute warning. Cowboys on the move. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL. 17-7 lead for Tony Romo and the Cowboys following the 2-minute warning. 1st and 10 from the Jaguars 47. Romo on 1st down, looking for Bryant again. With Krotz on the coverage.
Right now, Tony Romo's doing a nice job at the line of scrimmage as well, identifying the blitz of the Jacksonville Jaguars, resetting that play. On that one, recognized what was coming, adjusted things at the line of scrimmage, put enough people in place to be able to cover that blitz to allow Des Bryant to run the full route and not have to adjust it.
Prior to that incompletion, Romo had completed 6 straight. Wade Harris back on the field. Split wide to the left. 2nd down and 10. Romo looking right. Now he throws. And it is the 6th catch of the first half for Des Bryant.
Talked about the performance of this offensive line against Seattle. On these twists, they do a tremendous job. Zach Martin recognizing they pass the game. It's called passing a game. You're going to bump. Guard tackle will bump as those defenders twist and they pass from one player to the other. Dallas does it very, very well.
Cowboys with 2 timeouts. 1:20 to play in the half. As Romo is under pressure and then is knocked to the ground by Sherrod Martin.
But a good job by Tony Romo in that situation, understanding where he is from a health standpoint here and not allowing the defender to be able to take him to the ground physically. Got a little bit of a shove at the end of that, but not nearly what it could have been if he tried to hold that ball and make something out of nothing.
Yeah, Sherrod Martin comes with a little bit of a delay on the outside. I think if he would have just came right off the snap of the ball, he probably would have gotten Tony Romo's face a little bit earlier, could have had a sack.
Now 2nd and 10 from the Jaguars 36. Play clock at 2. Romo over the middle, and the ball comes loose. Cole Beasley made the catch and then lost the football, and the Jaguars have recovered. A lot of commotion at the bottom of the pile, but one of the officials came running in and 3 times signaled Jaguars football.
Again, this is similar. It's been frustrating for us this year. We've had a couple of these scenarios during the course of the season. And as you pointed out, Kenny, all turnovers are under review. But when we get to this point, it's you know, how do we know? You know, what are we seeing with the clear recovery aspect as the officials are reviewing it?
Yeah, Kenny, first they signaled it was Jacksonville's ball. Now they have a huddle trying to figure it out.
And 3 times it was signaled that the Jaguars had it. And we will check in with Mike Pereira in Los Angeles. Mike, what do you make of this?
Well, I make a mess out of this. You know, you point one way and you end up with another decision, but here is the aspect of this play. We know it's a catch, we know it's a fumble, and then it goes into a scrum. You had an official come in and point one way, but they continued to dig, and then when they finally came up with the ball, then they signaled the other way. So the question's got to be, you know, did that first signal by that first official?
By Jacksonville. Change of possession.
All right, thanks, Mike. And you heard the announcement from the referee, John Parry. It will be Jaguars football.
And one of the things we're losing sight of here is Josh Evans, number 26, is standing away from the pile with the football in his hand, Mike.
Yeah, and that's the issue here is, do you have a clear recovery? Do you see the ball before it goes into this pile, in possession of the team? That's why none of these hardly ever get reversed, even though this is the new rule. You can review who recovers, but there has to be an absolute clear recovery prior to that. And in this one, there really isn't.
And that was tough because as the ball was on the ground, it was Josh Evans and Jason Witten kind of tied up with an arm, each one of them with an arm on the ball.
So now the Jaguars with one timeout remaining, trailing by 10, pass incomplete, intended for Todman.
Well, let's not lose sight of a tremendous play by the Jaguar defense in that situation. You're on the verge of 20-7, 24-7 at halftime. And, all to their own undoing with the turnovers that they have had here in the first half, the mistakes that they have committed here in the first half. So a great play by the Jaguars defense to force that turnover.
2nd and 10 from the 23. Bortles over the middle.
Great catch.
And it's Allen Robinson out of the 30-yard line, setting up 3rd down and 3.
I mean, his momentum is carrying him one way. Look at this. Look at the reach back. Look at him keep that ball. Doesn't even go to the ground. That's impressive by Allen Robinson.
2nd round pick out of Penn State. Bortles on 3rd and 3. And that pass is broken up by J.J. Wilcox. So the Jaguars, following the Dallas turnover, go 3 and out.
Little stick route there, get beyond the distance for the 1st down, and you can see J.J. Wilcox kind of drawing a line in the sand right there. Reads that route very well, able to make the deflection.
Wayne Harris shaken up on his last return. Re-entered the game on offense and is back deep for the Cowboys. Punt bounces out of bounds, so with 31 seconds remaining, we go to Fort Benning, Georgia to find out what's coming up at halftime.
Coming up at half, we'll catch you up on all the highlights from the early games.
Did Big Ben throw another 6 touchdowns?
We'll find out at halftime.
We look forward to it. The Maneuver Center, Fort Benning, Georgia. Cowboys, 2 timeouts, 31 seconds on the clock. Turned the ball over moments ago, but then the Dallas defense forced a 3 and out.
The kicker Dan Bailey has been such a weapon for this Cowboy offense. Interesting to see what Jason Garrett wants to do here offensively.
From the 32 on 1st down, Romo firing downfield for Bryant. He's got it. Des Bryant inside the 15, the 10, to the end zone. Touchdown. 68 yards.
You're going to be second-guessing yourself in that situation. A little over 30 seconds left in the half at the snap of the ball. And a great release by Des Bryant. He wins that route off the release on the line of scrimmage, and immediately in that situation, Dwayne Gratz is in chase position, and Jonathan Cyprien cannot get over there in time. Des Bryant is taking the game over on the outside here in the first half for the Cowboys.
His 2nd touchdown reception, as Romo talks about it with the referee, John Parry. 68-yard connection. 3rd touchdown pass of the first half for Tony Romo. Bailey, the extra point. Cowboys lead by 17. Back to Wembley in a moment. .159 yards for Des Bryant, a first half career high. And Darrell, you mentioned it earlier, only 5 receptions the last 2 weeks, and the 2 losses to Washington and Arizona.
And it's been a number of different ways they've helped Des Bryant with releases, with motion and bunch and stacks. But then you just saw in that last play that you can just line him up on the outside one-on-one, and what a physical release from the line of scrimmage to win right away on that route.
Ryan Davis returned the short kick. 16 seconds on the clock. Bryant with 7 receptions, 2 touchdowns, both in the second quarter. A 35-yard touchdown pass, and then a 68.
How about him?
The Dallas Cowboys have extended to a 17-point lead.
Earlier in the week, he said he felt good. He didn't know what it was. He didn't know if it was the air over here in London or what, but he felt like he had a ton of energy. He wasn't making up a story.
Codman on the carry. Well, Des Bryant celebrated a birthday here in London. Turned 26 years of age on Tuesday. And he celebrates by scoring 2 touchdowns in the first half here at Wembley. To Los Angeles for the Visa halftime report. Kurt, take it away. 24-7 lead for the Dallas Cowboys as we get set for the start of the third quarter here at Wembley. Today's excitement brought to you by Nissan. A lot of excitement for Des Bryant in the first half, 158 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kenny Albert, Darrell Johnston, we welcome you up to the broadcast gantry, as they say here in London. And for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Darrell, they scored a touchdown on their opening drive, but trailed by 17. They will get the ball first.
Very impressive opening drive, and one of the reasons why Tony Romo wanted to be the starter today, the sense of urgency, how important this game was, how well Jacksonville had been playing over their last 3 games, but they followed that up with the mistakes that a young team will commit, and it's penalties and turnovers. A great opportunity at the end of that half to kind of get some momentum going in. They get the takeaway from Dallas when Dallas is pressing down the field to score, and they can't get anything going, and all of a sudden they give up the explosive play to Des Bryant for that touchdown late.
Jaguars, a young team, as we mentioned, youngest average age in the entire National Football League. Second-year head coach Gus Bradley. Tony Romo with his 34th career touchdown of 50-plus. Bryant, a couple of touchdowns, 158 receiving yards. And the Jaguars with that good opening drive. It's the NFL International Series, 3rd of 3 games this year. 11th regular season game in London. Jaguars will start from their 20-yard line, trailing by 17. Jaguars are the home team. It's the second of a 4-year commitment. They lost to the 49ers here last season. Will host the Buffalo Bills Week 7 next year.
And you know, it's made a big impact with the American football fans over here in the UK. You know, the Union Jacks, the local fan club here, their membership has gone from 20,000 to 35,000 since that 4-game commitment was announced.
Gotta love that, the Union Jacks, J-A-X.
Gotta love that. And they're one of those teams that I'm sure a lot of fans over here in the UK didn't know much about, but you make that commitment. They've risen from number 30 to number 9 in popularity here. And speaking of number 9, Tony Romo eliminating all doubts about whether he should have played this afternoon in this game, and Des Bryant just absolutely took the game over there in the first half on the outside.
On second down and 11. Catch is made and taken out to the 29-yard line by Ace Sanders. His first catch today, a gain of 10.
And when you're a young team trying to find your way, you make these mistakes, you dig yourselves into a hole. But Gus Bradley, very proud of how his team responded last week against Cincinnati when they fell behind 19-3, got it all the way back to 26-23 in the fourth quarter, but couldn't finish that one out. We'll see if they can have that same type of performance here in the second half against the Cowboys.
On 3rd and 1, first carry today for the ex-Viking Toby Gerhart. And Gerhart has the Jaguars first down.
Well, guys, I got a chance to talk to Gus Bradley, and he challenged his players there at halftime.
We'll go back and take a look at some of these mistakes in the first half. Ace Sanders with the fumble on the punt, recovered by Dallas there. Denard Robinson puts it on the ground. Big scrum at the bottom of that pile, but Dallas came away with that turnover as well. And Gus Bradley's guys continue to make critical mistakes.
This set of downs for the Jaguars from the 31. Bortles' pass is short. It was tipped, intended for Marquise Lee.
Guys, at halftime, I got a chance to talk to both coaches. Jason Garrett, you know, he couldn't believe that they're going to go and cover Dez Bryant man-to-man. He says as long as they're going to do that, Tony Romo's going to go and look for him downfield. He's too big of an asset for us, and I can't believe that they're actually doing that. Also, I asked him how long would Tony Romo stay in. He says as long as we need him, he's got to come back out here in the second half and prove to us that he can go and get this team going once again. They want to keep putting a lot of pressure on Bortles, which they've been doing defensively, and he congratulated the offensive line in the first half of doing a great job of giving Tony Romo plenty of protection and plenty of confidence to go and bring this team to where they are right now.
All right, thanks very much, Goose. First reception today for Allen Hurns, the rookie out of Miami, out to the 40-yard line. So once again, it will be 3rd down and 1.
Very similar to that opening drive we saw in the first half, staying in these manageable down and distances, getting some nice rhythm going for the Jaguar offense.
Green 80.
Gerhardt in the backfield once again. Off the fake to Gerhardt. Bortles throws, and the catch is made for a 1st down, taking it out to the 48-yard line. Gain of 8 is Hurns. So the Jaguars again able to move the chains. Offensive coordinator Jed Fish, who worked with Gus Bradley in Seattle under Pete Carroll.
Green 80. Green inside.
From the 48, that pass is high. Bortles looking for Allen Robinson.
Talked about the start for the Jaguars with that opening drive, and you can see what has happened to them during the course of the season. Down a little bit today in that 4th quarter, but look what's happened to him 2nd to 4th quarter throughout the beginning of this season. Minus 111 points.
Just one win over the Cleveland Browns. Jaguars started the season 0-6. Into Cowboys territory, Denard Robinson for the Dallas 47. Anthony Spencer made the tackle, gain of 5. Third down and 5. 9th play of the drive. Jaguars have already converted twice on 3rd down on this drive. They must get to the Dallas 42. And they will not, as the pass from Bortles bounces away from Cecil Shorts.
The Cowboys show blitz in the front, pre-snap, and then back out of it. Going to force Blake Bortles to find the open man in the zone. A little bit on the back shoulder of Cecil Shorts, but you got to make that catch.
Brian Anger out to punt for the 5th time. Wayne Harris back deep for the Cowboys. Their catch called for by Harris at the 13. Cowboys by 17 here in London. Approaching 8 in the evening here in London. We welcome you back to Wembley. We're starting field position of the day for the Cowboys from their own 13. As DeMarco Murray is bottled up on 1st down by Dakota Watson.
Take a look at the offensive leaders for the Dallas Cowboys. No signs of that back bothering Tony Romo in the first half, but really the big key is the play of Dez Bryant on the outside, and I was surprised as well to see Jacksonville play one-on-one against Dez Bryant in certain situations in that first half with those 2 young corners.
Here it is again, Darryl, on the outside to the right.
Matched up with Wayne Bratz. Man-to-man coverage again. Romo on 2nd down. It's gathered in by Murray. And Murray is able to take it out to the 19-yard line, setting up 3rd down and 4.
As a young team, you're always looking for somebody to step forward as a leader. Somebody on the defense needs to make a play. This is the unit that actually has a little bit more experience on it. You look at some of those guys up in the front of the defensive line, Red Bryant, Chris Clemens, somebody familiar with this defense, Gus Bradley's style, needs to make a play here early in the second half defensively.
Bryant, Clemens, both coming over from the Super Bowl champion Seahawks during the offseason. Third down and 4. Romo steps up and throws wide open for a first down as the tight end, Gavin Escobar, only his 8th catch of the season. He gains 14.
In that situation, you think Gavin Escobar might be the guy staying in to block, but they've got him spread out wide. It's actually Jason Witten who stays in to block, number 82. It's some of those complementary offensive players that Jacksonville is going to have to deal with. We talked about the dominance of Des Bryant, but a lot of playmakers throughout the formation for the Cowboys that the Jaguars have to contend with.
From the 33 on first down, it's Murray. And DeMarco Murray is out to the 39-yard line. He gains 6. Now has 78 on the day.
He makes runs where there doesn't seem to be much there, and all of a sudden you look up and you've got a great down and distance situation, 2nd and 4. The whole playbook opens up. And we talked about Jacksonville's defense forcing DeMarco Murray to, put your foot in the ground and change direction. He likes to get downhill, and he showed you right there, I can even do that. I can put my foot in the ground. I can make another cut and get down the field for positive yards.
2nd down and 4. From the 39, it's Murray again. Murray has a first down and more. Across midfield, DeMarco Murray to the Jaguars' 40 as he gains 21.
And here's just another version in this running game. You see zone, you see zone, you see zone, and now all of a sudden, here come the Dallas Cowboys, and it's Zach Martin and Ronald Leary pulling around to the outside, and DeMarco Murray, the leader in the NFL with explosive runs, adding a couple more here this afternoon.
Murray now with 99 yards on the day.
That's a look we don't see very often. All the turf fields back in the States, Darryl. Throws grass in the helmet.
And now a big hole opens up for Joseph Randle. Randle still going. He dives. Touchdown. "40 yards, Randle into the end zone."
There's just a great chemistry with Dallas's offensive line. And with Ronald Leary and Doug Free back in the lineup, he never changes his path. He never has to break stride. It's just a straight line. It's a tremendous job by that offensive line and the chemistry. I mean, he's 15, 18 yards into the secondary before he has to change direction.
How about Terrence Williams downfield making a block? Everybody's getting involved on this offense for the Dallas Cowboys.
Longest career run for Randle, his first touchdown this season. Last 3 Cowboys scores have been 35 yards or longer. Bryant twice, now Randle. Bailey the extra point. Tony Romo celebrates. His Cowboys now lead 31-7. Well, back in the 80s, Prince Charles visited Dallas, brought back for his son, Prince William, a Cowboys t-shirt.
Maybe that was the beginning of getting this excitement for the Dallas Cowboys here in the UK. There's Jerry Jones, center of your screen. Charlotte to his right. Steven to his left. Steven, it's not a nail biter.
No.
It's not a nail biter right now.
Not nail biting time, up by 24. First regular season game outside the United States for America's team. You can refer to tonight's game as America's team versus London's team. Second of 4 straight years here at Wembley for the Jaguars. Top it on the return. There's a flag. Brought down at the 13-yard line by C.J. Spillman.
It's going to end up in tough starting field position if it goes against the Jaguars.
During the return, holding, return team, number 56, half the distance to the goal, 1st and 10.
So this will be the worst starting field position for Bortles and the Jaguars. Cowboys by 24.
Today's Game on Fox is sponsored by Cialis.
31-7 lead for the Cowboys. We spoke with Gus Bradley yesterday. He said, we're building it young. We know we will have growing pains. Well, some more growing pains for the Jaguars here tonight.
Yeah, and this could be a little bit surprising. I expected a better performance from the Jacksonville Jaguars this evening here in London. And again, you're kind of revisiting that same issue that has been their problem all season long. The critical mistakes, critical turnovers that stops their momentum and puts them in tough positions, like this drive starting right here.
Jaguars start from their 7. On first down, this is Shorts. Shorts out to the 16-yard line, gain of 9.
But I was very impressed with Gus Bradley and his plan for moving forward. It'll be interesting to see what he does with the team as they get back. He really says that he was validated in his approach last season. They were 0-8. They went back to Jacksonville. A lot of the players expected a very, very difficult week and not a lot of time off, even in their bye. And Gus Bradley rewarded them. Gave him 1 day of practice, gave him the long weekend to get away from it. Let's refocus. The team came back and rewarded him with a 4-4 finish down the stretch. And he's as positive as a guy you're ever going to be around. You can see him on the sideline right now. He wants to build this the right way for the long term on a very strong foundation. And ownership is going to allow to do that. Shad Khan is behind him. They've had a great conversation during the interview process. They both believe the same things, getting better every day, and they understand that it's going to be a tough turnaround for Jacksonville.
Yeah, in the first year also, Darryl, he's got to find out who he has on his team, what his players, how they respond, who's the guys he wants to keep in the locker room, who's the guys he wants to get rid of. So last year was sort of a figure it out on both sides, and then this year you draft some guys, you bring some free agents in, and you start building.
Barry Church left the field for the Cowboys following that last play shaken up. First and 10 from the 20-yard line for the Jaguars. Pass could not be handled by Alan Hearns. And you mentioned that bye week last year. Jaguars starting 0-8. The 8th loss was here at Wembley at the hands of the 49ers. And Jacksonville would go on to win 4 of their next 5 games. There's Church on the Dallas sidelines.
There it is. There it is. I heard it coming. I thought it was a freight train down here on the field, guys. I haven't seen the wave in 10 years.
You take the part, Goose?
I'm trying.
Bortles on 2nd and 10. He swings it out to Denard Robinson. Robinson diving toward the chains. He's about a yard shy. Out of bounds at the 29.
Here I go, Kenny. Oh, getting involved, baby. Getting involved with the fans.
Nothing to wave at right here as we take a look at some of the Jacksonville Jaguars offensive leaders. Been a tough day for him. Cecil Shorts is having a big afternoon today. Up around 30 yards per catch. That's a nice day at the office.
Long of 53. Third down and 1. It's Gerhardt. And he looks to be just short.
It's tough in those 3rd and short situations. I think a lot of times you're going to go with the bigger back, but sometimes it could be the shorter back. 4th down here, Jacksonville lining up for it.
Going for it on 4th down.
Green 80. Green is on.
Gerhardt again. And a big push by the Cowboys front.
The way the referees are coming in right now, he could be a little bit short. It looked like there was room to run. Pulling your Anthony Hitchens just left unblocked in the hole. Great job.
Does a nice job of the tackle also, taking his legs totally out of it, wrapping him up and forcing him backwards.
Gerhardt and the Jaguars stopped on 4th down. It will be Cowboys football when we return to Wembley. Big stop by Hitchens. We We are back at Wembley. First the wave, and now they are passing the poppy.
Tell you what, these fans here in Wembley, they get involved in this game. They're having a great time.
Well, John Parry, referee, taking a look at the last play. Toby Gerhardt on 4th down.
Well, you're going to get a pull and a wraparound. Not a fan of that in short yardage and goal line type plays because it allows for the linebackers to fill exactly how Anthony Hitchens did. He was unblocked right at the point of attack.
You can challenge the spot with regard to a potential first down.
I think he was pretty close on that one. I think he touched that red line.
You know what? It's going to stay as called, I think, Tony. You can make the argument that he was close, but he had it in the right hand as he got spun. That became the backward hand.
But I think Gus has to challenge this.
Here comes John Parry.
Reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. It'll be 1st and 10 Dallas. Jacksonville is charged with their first team timeout.
You're right, Darryl. You hardly ever see a challenge such as that one overturned.
Yeah, it's so hard to get that clear, definitive picture that is going to make you change that play.
So the Cowboys take over at the Jaguars 29. Off the fake end around to Harris. It's Romo to Jason Witten, who lost the football.
That's something you don't see very often right there. Jason Witten, the ball right in his hands and him dropping it.
Yeah, nice play design to get him open down the sideline. J.T. Thomas, watch him come in right at the very, very end. Good sell by Jason Witten there. And right there, that little flash, you wonder if that just kind of caught his vision a little bit and distracted him.
Are you covering for your buddy?
I tell you, it's about the only thing that Dallas hasn't done well today. Tony Romo missed him on an easy touchdown throw early in the game, and then a big drop right there for Jason on that one.
Yeah, he hit him right in his eyes.
Here's DeMarco Murray. And he will stay at 99 yards for the moment. Chris Clemens, the tackle.
Can't say enough about this offensive line. Picture right there. These guys have really, been challenged. They had to go a little bit extra today against the Jacksonville team that was, number 3 in the league with sacks. That they wanted to bring pressure on Tony Romo, but they stoned him. And they just gave Tony Romo all the time in the world back there to go and find his receivers. And you can see the scoreboard in the left-hand corner there. That's what happens.
3rd down and 11. Play clock winding down. Romo steps up, fires for Terrence Williams, and it's broken up. Williams in the end zone, and it was Grotz on the coverage. Cowboys will punt it away.
Just a little bit underthrown by Tony Romo right there because Dwayne Grotz is beat, and all he has to do is get that out towards the back of the end zone, and Terrence Williams is going to have a big play for a touchdown.
A little pass interference right there they got away with. Never got his head back around.
So Dan Bailey, who hit a 54-yard field goal earlier, was matched an NFL record here at Wembley. This a 48-yard attempt. And Bailey's kick is short. So with just over 4 minutes remaining here in London, Cowboys lead remains 24. Back at Wembley, it's the 11th game played here, dating back to 2007. Giants and the Dolphins. One game in 2008, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Then 2 games last season and 3 this year.
And 3 scheduled again next year with back-to-back games. I'm interested to see what the response is by the fans here in the UK. And as this spreads, we've got a lot of people traveling in here from around Europe to take part in the weekends where American football is played at Wembley.
Lions with the big comeback. Went over the Falcons here 2 weeks ago. Jaguars in London for the 2nd straight year. 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line as Bortles is brought down by Anthony Spencer. Not a sack. He gained a yard on 1st down. So 3 more games here at Wembley. It was announced just a couple of days ago. Jets and Dolphins week 4. Then the back-to-back games. Bills, Jaguars, followed by Lions and Chiefs. Darryl, you played here in a preseason game with the Cowboys back in '93.
The old Wembley Stadium.
And that was the second of 2 preseason games the Cowboys played here in London. Pass broken up, intended for Hearns. And you guys faced the Detroit Lions that day. There is a flag as Hearns remains down.
Number 88 coming out of the slot. Anthony Hitchens coming in from the opposite side. You see what the flag was thrown on the other field.
Personal foul, defense, number 59. Contact to a defenseless player, 15-yard penalty, 1st and 10 Jacksonville.
So the Jaguars medical staff checking on Hearns as we head to Los Angeles for a game break with Kurt.
All right, you mentioned the Lions and Dolphins playing in London next year. They're facing each other today. Matt Prater's 42-yard field goal attempt blocked. Deion Jordan takes it back to the 3-yard line, and on the next play, Mike Wallace scores, and Miami has a 13-10 lead in the 4th. In the battle of 2 teams, riding 3-game win streaks right now. Kenny, Moose, and Goose.
All right, thanks very much, Kurt. So more problems on field goals for the Lions. Prater hit the game winner here at Wembley 2 weeks ago. Hearns, the injured Jaguar.
Good news to see Alan Hearns on his feet. Jaguar training staff and medical team still assessing the situation on the field. And coming out of the slot, you're going to run that in route. You're going to get your linebacker coming from the inside out position. And it happens in such a bang-bang play. You heard hit on the defenseless player. And Anthony Hitchens, you know, he's got his shoulder up in that area.
I think he did a good job, Hitchens, of avoiding contact. It was just caught a little piece of that helmet there in the beginning. I don't
think there was an intent to go high and to hurt by Anthony Hitchens at all.
Hearns having a terrific rookie year. There were 34 wide receivers drafted. He was not one of them. Now Bortles steps up and slides down just inside the 45-yard line.
And Dallas is doing a nice job this afternoon. There's been a few opportunities for Blake Bortles to break out of that pocket to try to make something happen with his feet. It was one of the big reasons why they were able to knock off Cleveland. Blake Bortles made some big runs in that game, and Dallas, every time he's tried to get something going, have been able to corral him.
All right. Mike's 59, down. Green 80. Green is up.
Second down at 9. From the 45, it's Denard Robinson. Robinson gains a couple to the 43. It's Hitchens on the tackle.
Very impressed with his performance today. Remember, Rolando McClain is out of the lineup this afternoon. He's active today, but has not played at all. And Anthony Hitchens taking advantage of that opportunity in the middle, having another nice afternoon after leading the team in tackles last weekend against Arizona.
Cowboys at the linebacker position, of course, lost Sean Lee prior to the start of the regular season without Justin Durant as well. 3rd down and 7. And down goes Bortles back at midfield.
Well, the Jacksonville Jaguars have struggled a little bit in pass protection when Dallas has added the extra player. You're going to wiggle in here and then come on the blitz. You're going to drop out. You're looking at those A-gaps. Only one guy comes. You've got twisting linemen. So Rod Marinelli throwing a lot at this offensive line and the running backs in pass protection.
First sack of the season for Brandon Carr. Harris back deep. He will let it bounce, and it takes the Cowboys bounce into the end zone for a touchback. Week 10 continues later today on CBS, and for some of you on Fox, then tonight, Sunday Night Football on NBC. Tune in tomorrow for Monday Night Football on ESPN. One of the major stories all week in the NFL, the status of Tony Romo, who did not play last week against Arizona, but Romo not only has returned, but has thrown 3 touchdown passes, 2 to Des Bryant, and the Cowboys have scored the last 28 points in the game.
Alan Hearns, wide receiver, is being evaluated for a concussion. He's questionable on his return, guys.
All right, thanks, Goose. Cowboys start from the 20. DeMarco Murray with 98 yards on the ground. Here's Murray.
Second down and 10.
Now second down and 10 for the Cowboys with just over 1 minute remaining in the third quarter here at Wembley.
DeMarco Murray slow getting up, and they're walking back to the huddle now, taking him off, bringing Joseph Randle in.
Randle with the 40-yard touchdown run earlier. We saw Des Bryant go into the locker room moments ago. He has not returned to the field. So Murray to the sidelines. Randle in the backfield with the fullback Tyler Klutz. Escobar in motion, second down and 10. Hand off to Randle. Randle out to the 22-yard line. Roy Miller made the tackle. So first Bryant to the locker room, and now Murray shaken up 2 plays ago.
Yeah, we talked about at the top, Jason Garrett describing his offense. We've got to throw the ball to number 88, and we've got to turn around and hand the ball to number 29. And right now, at this point, both of those guys on the sideline for the Dallas Cowboys.
Lance Dunbar has replaced Randle in the backfield. Third down and 8. Cowboys must get to the 30 for a first. Witten slot to the right. Romo on third down. Pump fake. Now moving to his left. Finds his man Dunbar, but he's tackled at the 25. So the Cowboys will punt it away, and Romo slow to get up. As the third quarter comes to an end here in London. All Cowboys, they lead by 24. 31-7 lead for the Cowboys. DeMarco Murray shaken up. A couple of plays back. Des Bryant has returned from the locker room. He's riding the bike.
Yeah, I think if you look at that situation, things look good for Des Bryant. DeMarco Murray went through some concussion evaluation, and here's the other part of this equation is Tony Romo extending this a little bit. He's going to take a hit from Ryan Davis right in that same area where he has the fractures of the transverse process. So that would be your biggest concern for the Dallas Cowboys. Your big three right now, all a little bit banged up on the sideline.
While we're doing injuries, wide receiver Alan Hearns is out, guys. Number 88 for Jacksonville. He'll be out.
Jones will punt it away following the first. Dallas 3 and out today. Sanders back deep. So we start the fourth quarter here in London. End over end kick. Taken out to 32 by Sanders. 11-yard return out to the 43. So it's Jaguars football. But if you're Jason Garrett, Darryl, you have to be thinking about how much longer Tony Romo stays in this game with a 24-point lead.
Well, if it was important to come over here to London and win this game, and so much so that you're going to put Tony Romo into the starting lineup, now it's time to think about what's coming down the road the latter part of the season after this bye week. You've got Des Bryant on the bike, DeMarco Murray going through concussion protocol, and your quarterback just took a hit in the same spot where he had those fractures of the transverse process. So I think they've accomplished what they set out to do. We actually joked with Tony Romo, would you come out of the game? And he says, well, if it's a big lead in the fourth quarter, say we're up 31-7, I have to think about getting off the field and letting Brandon Weeden get some snaps. So very prophetic in his prediction when we spoke with him on Saturday.
Well, that was his actual line. He said 31-7. Bortles sacked for the third time. Ball comes loose. And it looks like the center, Luke Bowenko, has recovered.
That Dallas Cowboy defense is just bringing pressure. Exactly what Jason Garrett said at halftime. They want to keep as much pressure on Bortles as possible. And you know what? You guys talking about Tony Romo and how long should keep him in. I think that, after that last hit, I watched him walk over to the sideline. It was very slow. I think it's time to really start considering taking him out.
And how about the London native, Jack Crawford, coming up with the Cowboys sack? Here's Denard Robinson. Crawford, much sought after by the media here in London during the week.
I mean, you come over here to London with the type of players and the notoriety that they have with Dallas, and Jack Crawford becomes one of your more sought-after guys, and really enjoyed his week here. And what a great opportunity, because he thought he had missed out on that, being drafted to the Raiders, and the game's coming back and forth here to London, and thought he'd missed out on his opportunity. And then the Dallas Cowboys pick him up, and he finds his way here.
They're down at 13. This is Todman. And Todman is across midfield, but is stopped about a yard shy of the marker. Needed 13, gained 12. So Crawford with the sack. A couple of plays back. He attended City of London School. One of his classmates, Daniel Radcliffe of Harry Potter fame. He said they were friends, haven't spoken in many years. But apparently, Daniel was a big fantasy football player.
Getting his inside information from Mr. Crawford.
They have an eye on tonight's game. Jaguars again going for it on 4th down. Nothing to lose at this point.
Well, as big as Blake Bortles is, if you don't cover up that center, it's a great opportunity for him. He's got to have a little bit better feel for that center coming off that block and keep his feet a little longer, not make that such a difficult spot.
It's tough for these young quarterbacks. They're not used to being up under center, Darryl.
That's right. Although in talking to us about his career at Central Florida, Bortles said, I feel like I had an edge over some of the other guys coming out of college. We actually used signals and called plays. We didn't have to look at pictures on the sideline.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, it's really difficult for some of the guys coming out of the college ranks, coming up to the NFL. We've seen it with E.J. Manuel, Geno Smith, some other younger guys coming out of those systems where the card system is in play as they pass plays out to their offense on the field. And everybody's looking over to get the play call as opposed to the quarterback going through the mechanics in the huddle. He made that a little bit closer than he needed to be. He'll get a better feel for that because Luke Bowenko had to come off and go right to his left to get that block. And, you expect to lean a little bit on your center, and then all of a sudden he's gone. And, boy, he's lucky because it looked like that knee went down, too.
Here's set of downs for the Jaguars, trailing by 24. From the Dallas 47-yard line, Bortles rolling right, being chased by Mincy. Now he throws, and Shorts picks up a first down and more. Cecil Shorts takes it to the Cowboys' 15, a 32-yard pass play, and Shorts is over 100 for the game.
We've talked about Allen Robinson and Allen Hurns throughout the game, but it's Cecil Shorts who's had the big game in the passing game today. Nice job by Blake Bortles extending this play, waiting. He's got two receivers, and Cecil Shorts, shutting that play down, finding that open spot in the zone for his quarterback to find him.
7th career 100-yard receiving game for Shorts. From the Cowboys' 15. Todman to the 12, and we head to Los Angeles for a game break with Kurt.
Good one going on in New Orleans. San Francisco has led all day, but Drew Brees and the Saints finally come back. He hooks up with Jimmy Graham, and right now it's 21-17 early on in the 4th quarter. Kenny Moose and Goose.
All right, thanks, Kurt. Jaguars on the move here in London. 2nd and 7. From the Dallas 12. Jaguars without Allen Hurns. Lost for the remainder of this game. No Jaguar in the vicinity of that throw. Nearly picked off by Sterling Moore. There is a flag at the end of the play.
Marquise Lee really pleading his case.
Pass interference, offense, number 15, blocking downfield prior to the ball being touched on a forward pass. 10-yard penalty, second down.
One of the plays that we see come into the NFL, the little bubble screens on the outside. There's number 15. We'll see if he's downfield blocking. There's Marquise Lee. Yeah, ball's not thrown. But then you've got a mix-up with quarterback wide receivers on the outside. They're looking for the bubble screen with Allen Robinson being called on that number 15. And Blake Bortles is throwing the ball down the field. Kind of that one where you're trying to sell that. You're going to fake that bubble screen and then allow Allen Robinson to release and go down the field for the catch.
Officials still huddled up. They have not yet picked up the flag at the 4-yard line.
Well, right away after the flag came down, Marquise Lee went over and was talking to one of the officials, explaining to him his point of view on what the play was designed to do. Don't know if he changed anybody's opinion out there.
Quite a conference here.
Well, it's one of the things that the NFL took a look at, and it's one of the things that we're watching is that contact down the field on these bubble screens on the outside to make sure.
Correction. There is no foul for offensive pass interference. The block took place within 1 yard of the line of scrimmage. There is no penalty. Incomplete pass. Third down.
I don't know if it was in 1 yard of the line of scrimmage, though.
No, I don't think it was 1 yard at all. So line of scrimmage is right here. Look at your blue line. That's your blue line. So let's see where this contact between Allen Robinson occurs with Sterling Moore. Or it's not Sterling Moore, it's actually Orlando Scandrick coming through. That's 3 yards downfield.
So the flag has been picked up erroneously, as we saw. Now 3rd down and 7. Bortles' pass is caught at the 11-yard line by Shorts.
What a heck of a catch by Cecil Shorts. Not a lot of productivity out of the catch, but a great catch nonetheless.
So it is now 4th down and 6. Gus Bradley again will go forward on 4th down.
Now we got Des Bryant going to the locker room earlier. He went in to get an IV for cramping. That was a reason for him coming off the field, guys.
Thanks, Goose. Jaguars must get to the 5 for a 1st down. And Bortles' pass is short, looking for Todman. So the Cowboys once again take over on downs. Dallas leading the Jaguars by 24. Can't come to London without having some fish and chips.
It's not wrapped in newspaper. It's not traditional. Where? Kenny?
Blaming me? Well, Tony Romo back out on the field as the Cowboys take over. There's DeMarco Murray, who was dinged earlier, and Des Bryant, who went to the locker room.
So good news, bad news for Cowboy fans. They're all 3 on the field, but why are they still all 3 on the field?
Well, here's Murray. Out to the 11. And he hits 100 yards on that run for the 9th time this season. 9th time in 10 games. Emmitt Smith back in 99, the last Cowboy with at least 9 100-yard rushing games in one season. Who was leading the way for Emmitt that year?
99, not for long.
No, it wasn't Tyler Klutz. 2nd down and 9. Romo dumps it off. It's Murray. Emmitt's here today, along with Michael Irvin, made the trip.
And we saw Fred Taylor down on the sideline from the Jacksonville Jaguars organization. Great running back for the
Tony
Jags.
Baselli also.
Yeah. Well, we talked about it at the top. You know, how is Dallas going to keep Tony Romo in the pocket, keep him clean, and look at the job the offensive line has done this afternoon, this evening here in London. Very impressive. And again, we'll go back to it. They played their best game of the year against the Seattle Seahawks. This is a very similar defense that Gus Bradley is installing here as the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars that he brought from Seattle. So a lot of confidence with this group that they would be successful.
Romo on 3rd and 10, sacked for the first time today.
And there you go, Kenny. As soon as you praise somebody,
You put the numbers up, man. They're going to prove you wrong, guys.
well, it was going to be hard for them to pitch the shutout the entire time against this front. Senderick Marks continues to work, going against two guys. Tony Romo spins out, and I like the fact that he braced himself, understanding the situation. It's breaking down. You got some big bodies coming in from that Jaguar defense. Been frustrated all afternoon because they haven't had an opportunity to get to the quarterback.
5th sack of the season for Marks. There is a flag on the punt. Flag back in the end zone. Ball comes to a stop at the 36-yard line. We'll check in once again with referee John Parry.
Prior to the kick, holding. Offense. Number 51. Penalty results in a safety.
Holding in the end zone on the punt, Kyle Wilbur, the guilty Cowboy. So the Cowboys' lead is now 31-9.
Well, the second special teams miscue for the Cowboys this afternoon. Chris Clemens partially blocks a field goal attempt earlier this half. Watch your right guard, 51, as he sets back in protection. Now, this is a return, so Ziggy Hood, Ziggy Hood, number 92, as he's trying to hold up Kyle Wilbur. They're all locked up. To release, he throws him to the ground. That's going to get you a holding penalty every time as a player goes to the ground in that situation. So the hold happened in the end zone, so it's 2 points for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
We saw a safety last time we were here in London, 2011, Bears and Buccaneers, and joked about some of the fans not understanding exactly why the points were put up on the board. They're very knowledgeable fans here in London. We've spoken to many of them throughout the week. As the Cowboys and Jaguars play game number 11 here at Wembley since 2007. Just under 8 minutes to play.
You gotta like the udders right there, guys.
Was he trying to say DeMarco Murray's the bell cow?
Those guys are having a good time. Got a cheese set in the background too, Daryl. All teams being represented. This guy's a...
You don't want to spring the money for the jersey or anything like that. I'm just going to get some paint.
What team is he representing? Shirts and skins. Bortles' pass is caught by Marquise Lee. 13-yard pass play to the Dallas 48.
Yeah, and you can see we've talked about Gus Bradley and what he's trying to build in Jacksonville. Great example right there. Him right there on the sideline, up with his players, patting him on the back. Hey, well done, well done. Get back out there. Let's keep rolling here.
I don't know if that was a catch. It looked like that second foot might have went out of bounds, guys.
Bortles on first down. That time looking for Allen Robinson, and there is a flag.
Yeah, Sterling Moore is shaking his head, but this is an easy call. He's through the back before the ball gets there.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 26. Spotted foul. 1st and 10. Jacksonville.
Again, really sitting on routes this afternoon. We've seen a couple of examples of the Dallas defensive backs really sitting on these routes by the Jaguar receivers.
From the Cowboys 39. Bortles complete for another first down. Clay Harbor, gain of 15. We can check in with Kurt Menefee.
Well, back here in the States, we're getting ready for America's Game of the Week when you guys are done in London. Most of you will see Russell Wilson and the Seahawks take on the New York Giants. Others, which catch the team with the best record in football, Carson Palmer and the Arizona Cardinals against St. Louis. Kenny?
All right, thanks, Kurt. Cardinals, of course, beat the Cowboys last Sunday to go to 7-1. Dallas played their last 3 games at home, losing 2 out of 3. Only team in the NFL with a perfect road record are the Cowboys, with wins at Tennessee, St. Louis, and Seattle. I guess you can call this the ultimate road game this season for the Cowboys.
What a job Bruce Arians is doing for the Arizona Cardinals.
Green is out.
Bortles fires on. It's picked off by Bruce Carter. There is a flag. 2 flags have been thrown. Big hit by J.J. Wilcox on the return. And Cecil Shorts, the recipient of that hit, remains down.
Now this is going to go into the middle of the field, and Cecil Shorts is going to take a big hit after the interception by Bruce Carter.
Second pick of the year for Carter. Shorts, the injured Jaguar. Welcome back. Brandon Weeden has replaced Tony Romo with just under 7 minutes remaining. And the Cowboys leading 31-9. Weeden started last week's game against Arizona. Went 18 of 33, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Following the interception by Carter, the hit by Wilcox on Shorts, leading to the Cowboys penalty flag.
Yeah, and J.J. Wilcox has just got to be smarter on this play. At 31-9, this is not a big deal. When you're talking about player safety, don't misunderstand me that it's not a big deal to the player's safety on the field, but you got to be smart in that situation and not put yourself in a position to get a penalty.
First and 10 from the 5-yard line. It's Joseph Randall. And we'll check in with Mike Pereira in Los Angeles. Check in with Mike. Your thoughts on that Wilcox hit? All right, we apologize for the audio issue as we come to you thousands of miles away from Mike Pereira. Cowboys traveled close to 5,000 miles, 4,300 miles from Jacksonville to London. Second down and 6. This is Randall once again. Joseph Randall with a 40-yard touchdown run earlier. So it will be third down for the Cowboys. There's Tony Romo. His numbers 20 of 27. 246 yards, 3 touchdowns.
But remember, part of the decision for Tony Romo to commit to playing in this game with that injury was the performance of the offense last week against Arizona, which Brandon Weeden was in charge of. And Arizona played it in the way where we're not going to allow you to beat us with DeMarco Murray. We're going to take him away. We're going to stack the box. There were plays to be made on the outside in the passing game, and Brandon Weeden could not take advantage of those. So this is an opportunity for him here to get some confidence in the staff back in Brandon Weeden to be the guy that can go out on that field in certain situations and run this offense in a way to produce a victory.
Cowboys use a timeout. Weeden, the former first-round draft pick of the Cleveland Browns back in 2012. He started 20 games over 2 seasons with the Browns. What a day for Cowboys quarterback Tony Romo.
We saw no indication whatsoever of the injury having an effect on his ability to play the quarterback spot. And when you got a guy like Des Bryant out there just taking over the game on the outside, that sure does help you out quite a bit. But you know, his mobility looked good. He had some off-balance throws, and he played smart. He threw the ball away, didn't take a lot of hits, took a couple, but his offensive line did a nice job keeping him upright the majority of the afternoon.
3 touchdown passes today, extending his NFL record on the road with a touchdown pass in 37 straight road games. He also has a touchdown pass in 37 straight games overall, no matter where they've been played, and that's the 5th longest streak in NFL history.
Jason,
Well start. Offense number 82. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
That's on Witten. Romo had been tied with his idol, Brett Favre. Tony grew up in Wisconsin. They were tied with a touchdown pass in 36 consecutive games, tied for 5th overall, but Romo now 1 ahead of Favre. He has told us in the past, as a 12-year-old, I would watch Brett Favre, and that's why I started playing quarterback.
Well, you can see a little bit of Favre in his style of playing the quarterback position with Tony Romo, extending the plays, you know, the off-balance throws.
Third down and 8. Weeden from the end zone throws. Catch is made at the 15-yard line by Witten. And he looks to have the first down. And then we spoke to Blake Bortles yesterday and asked him who his favorite quarterback to watch was. Brett Favre.
What is it? How many years can we cover where you could be a fan of Favre? I mean, gosh, how many young guys out there have been influenced by the way that Brett Favre played the quarterback position and that unbelievable career that he had?
I don't think there was a quarterback out there that had more fun than Brett Favre did. I mean, he was always smiling, always happy, running around, making things happen. He was an exciting player to watch.
And Goose, you once told us the story. You were lined up against Favre, playing against Green Bay.
Hey, Rico.
We started making fun of how big your head was in your helmet.
Yeah.
Right before calling signals.
Yeah, and the cadence. He would go, blue 26, Goose got a big head, blue 26. It was sort of very entertaining. But they wound up beating us anyway. Kenny it didn't turn out to be a good day for us.
That's why maybe the hat you're wearing today is not quite fitted properly. Is it?
No, this is perfectly
well?
fitted. I don't know.
Fitting well?
Can you see that here? Look, that's a sized 6.5 because I have a very tiny head. But
did they erase the 1 in front of the 6?
No, they might have. I think they fudged the numbers a little bit. But Sky Sports, I want to thank them because they gave this to me last time we did a game here in London, and I brought it back. And I want to thank everybody at Sky Sports for going and getting me a little momentum that every time I come to London, I will be wearing. So I feel like I fit in here in the crowd.
And we thank our entire crew. Guys came over early in the week. Some challenges in setting up in a stadium that is only used for NFL games now 3 times a year. NFL started playing regular season games here at Wembley in 2007. Giants played in the first game against the Dolphins. They went on to win the Super Bowl. 4 other teams have reached the postseason after playing in London during the regular season, including the Patriots and 49ers reaching the conference championship game the last 2 years.
Yeah, I think one of the concerns about having the series as they were trying to work out things logistically was what would be the impact on the travel to and from London later in the season. As you can see right there, it has not had a negative effect on the teams that have had the opportunity to come over here and showcase their skills in the UK.
Both teams came early in the week. The Jaguars flew right from Cincinnati after the game last week. Cowboys coming over on Monday. We're down at 7. Here's Randall. Randall ready to have the play. Great job by our entire crew, led by producer Barry Landis, director Brian Lilly, our associate director Joe Williams, broadcast associate Paul Marmero, technical producers Sid Drexler and Dave Hill, technical director Gabe Bell, statisticians Rick Camps, Jason Thornberry, and Dave Corris, and our spotter Ben Bowman. 31-9 lead for the Dallas Cowboys. The Philadelphia Eagles leapfrogged the Cowboys into first place in the NFC East last weekend. Eagles at 6-2. Cowboys coming into this game 6-3. Philadelphia will host Carolina tomorrow night.
You forgot Nick Gagliano, my sideline producer, Kenny. He's very upset with you that you didn't mention him.
Nick's first trip to London. He's had a blast.
Exciting.
So the Cowboys will raise their record to 7-3 by next week. And then Dallas will play 4 of their last 6 games against division opponents, including 2 with the Eagles.
2 in 3 weeks, Kenny.
And for the Jaguars, following their bye, they will travel to Indianapolis and then host the Giants. Sanders to the 47. The final 3:20 from Wembley when we return. It has certainly been an enjoyable week for our crew, Buckingham Palace.
Abbey Road.
Which one's McCartney?
Aiden's, he was supposed to take his shoes off. I don't know. He refused. He said it was a little chilly.
Aiden leaving the shoes on as he crossed Abbey Road by the Abbey Road Studios. Bortles wrapped up. Down he goes back at the 40-yard line. 4th sack of the day for the Cowboys, Cameron Lawrence.
That's one of the areas that the Dallas defense did a nice job today, and compliments to Rod Marinelli putting the game plan together, really challenged the Jacksonville Jaguar pass protection with a nice blitz package.
That pass deflected and then caught by Todman. On the deflection by Keith Smith. Cowboys only 12 sacks coming into the game. They have 4 today. Smith getting a hand on it. Todman says, look what I found. And for the Jaguars, Darryl, you add injury to insult, losing the game. And they've lost 2 of their top 3 wide receivers to injury, Allen Hurns, and then Cecil Shorts on the hit from J.J. Wilcox.
380.
3rd down at 13. Bortles being chased once again. Now he throws and it's incomplete. He was looking for Allen Robinson.
Well, you know, Gus Bradley is in a fortunate position because he has the support of ownership. Shed Khan understands they had a really good connection during the interview process, and when he spoke to Shed Khan about we must improve every day, he's already spoken to Gus Bradley during the course of a tough opening year, and then again this season at 1-8 about I see the improvement, I see the team getting better, and you're going to have these growing pains as you're going through this process, but I think he's in a good position. I think he is going to build this on a really strong foundation. When you sit down and you talk with Gus Bradley, it's a very unique approach. It's something that I would have loved to have been involved in.
Penalty marker on 4th down as the catch is made by the tight end Nick Jacobs, rookie out of McNeese State.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, number 53. Penalties declined. Result of the play, 1st down.
Game break, Joel Clanton.
All right, Kenny to New Orleans, and the Saints down by 4. Breeze finds Jimmy Graham. They're up 3, 1:39. 49ers with the ball, facing a 3rd and 10. Back to London, Kenny, Moose, and Goose.
Thanks, Joel. Those teams have had great battles. You think back to the playoff game 3 seasons ago. 4 touchdowns in the last 4 minutes as the catch is made by Allen Robinson. That's one of Bortles' best throws of the game.
It really was. Really nice touch on that throw. We've seen the velocity that he can get in the ball on a couple of these shorter routes, but here's an example of the touch, just dropping it right over the top to Allen Robinson.
31-yard completion. Robinson's 5th catch today. First and 10 from the Cowboys 12. Empty backfield with 2:25 remaining. Penalty flag. 2 flags. Finding his way to the 10-yard line is Ace Sanders.
Two fouls in the play, both on the defense. Offside, defense, number 93. Penalties decline. Holding, defense, number 37. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
C.J. Spillman, number 37, working against Nick Jacobs. That's an easy call for the officials on the field.
Now 1st and goal from the 7 following the penalty. Bortles steps up, now throws to the end zone. There's a flag. It's picked off. 3 flags are thrown. 3 penalty markers as this is taken into Jaguars territory by Spillman. And he's tackled at the 32. Chased down by Zane Beadles.
Great hustle by Zane Beadles in that situation. One of your big linemen running that down.
Pass interference, defense, number 38. 1st down at the spot of the foul. Jackson will get the ball back.
So it's Jeff Heath, the guilty Cowboy.
What stinks about that for the big guys, they had to run all the way down the field. Now they got to go all the way back.
That's right.
They did almost 110 yards on that one. Now they got to go right back and play the next snap.
So Heath called for the penalty. The ball actually deflected off his back Penalty negates a 72-yard return by Spillman. It will be first and goal from the Cowboys 1. With 2:03 on the clock.
Green is on.
Toby Gerhart. Oh, and he's wrapped up by Keith Smith. As we hit the 2-minute warning here in London. Smith coming up to make the play for the Cowboys, who lead by 22. Terrific week here in London. Third and final NFL game at Wembley this season. Dallas Cowboys lead the Jacksonville Jaguars 31-9 following the 2-minute warning. Bortles handing it off to Denard Robinson, and Robinson is in his second touchdown today.
Yeah, they have gone inside with Toby Gerhart on a couple of occasions here in short yardage and goal line, and it hasn't worked. And been waiting for that play call. Get Denard Robinson on the edge and allow him to use his athleticism to find his way into the end zone or find his way to convert that first down.
Jaguars will go for 2 and try and make it a 14-point deficit. Jacksonville 0 for 1 this season. There's Bortles, 2-point conversion. And the catch is made by Allen Robinson. So the Jaguars pull to it in 14.
You've seen him trying to bang it inside in between the tackles with little success this afternoon. So let's get out here. Let's get on the edge. Let's let our athletic running back try and find his way into the end zone. Good job by the offensive line and the receivers on the outside. And then Allen Robinson, nice catch. Nice throw by Blake Bortles for the 2-point conversion.
So the Jaguars with 10 points here in the fourth quarter. A safety, a touchdown, and a 2-point conversion. Coming into this weekend, there have been 4 successful onside kicks this season. 3 of the 4 by the Colts. Jaguars have the other. So Scobie will set it up. 4 of 13 in his career. Scobie grew up in Texas, big Cowboys fan as a youngster.
Here's your designated catcher right here. Everybody else is going to clear the way, keep Jason Witten safe on the onside kick.
Here it comes. You called it. Jason Witten. So the Dallas Cowboys with 1:51 remaining will be able to run out the clock. Jaguars are out of timeouts.
I was always the guy on the front line, Kenny. I was in front of Jay Novacek. I was a designated blocker on the onside kick. It's not a whole lot of fun.
At least you're on the hands team, Darryl. I never really got on that one.
Not for hands, though. I don't think I qualified because of hands.
So Jason Garrett's Dallas Cowboys will raise their record to 7-3 following back-to-back defeats. Jaguars will drop to 1-9 as Brandon Whedon takes a knee. America's Game of the Week coming up. Many of you will see the Seahawks and the Giants. Others, the Cardinals and the Rams. Big day for Tony Romo and his return after missing the game last week. Threw for 3 touchdowns, including 2 in the second quarter to Des Bryant.
You think the Rams can take down Seattle, San Francisco, and Arizona in consecutive weeks?
Wow. What a job Jeff Fisher's club has done. In the previous 2 seasons under Fisher, they play their best football against their division rivals, especially defensively. Time winding down here in London. Season-high passer rating for Tony Romo. DeMarco Murray with his 9th 100-yard day this season in 10 games. Des Bryant, 158 yards, second highest total of his career. A couple of touchdown receptions and the first career 2-touchdown game for Denard Robinson of the Jaguars.
This is one of those specialty situations that the UK fans really haven't grown to appreciate yet, Kenny.
Taking a knee.
Taking a knee, victory formation. No, we want to see more football.
They love the punts, they love the kicks. And here tonight, they have watched the Dallas Cowboys put an end to their 2-game losing streak. They had never lost 3 in a row under Jason Garrett. Garrett and Bradley come together. Their teams have spent the entire last week here in London. Des Bryant, 2 second-quarter touchdown receptions. Big question all week, would Tony Romo play? Well, not only did he play, but he excelled. To New Orleans, Kevin Burkhardt, John Lynch, Pam Oliver.